The twin suns of the ruined world burned weakly above the horizon. Their light filtered through clouds of ash that had not lifted in years. Once, this planet had been home to the proud Valari civilization. Shining cities, tall crystal spires, and endless songs of life had filled the sky. But now silence ruled. Among the broken metal and dust walked Lyra. Her pale gray skin marked by hunger and exhaustion. Behind her stumbled her little sister Tali, no more than 7 cycles old. Her small hands clutched an empty food pack. Her lips dry and cracked. "Sister," Tali whispered weakly. "I'm hungry." Lyra froze, her heart twisting with pain. She looked around the barren street. Nothing but ruined machines and empty stalls. The last crumbs of food were gone days ago. Even the rats had vanished. "Just a little longer, Tali," she said softly, forcing a smile that never reached her tired eyes. "I'll find something." The child nodded, trusting, her golden eyes dull from weakness. Lyra had already searched every place she knew. The human outpost lay far beyond the old industrial zone. Guarded and dangerous, the humans had food, she knew that. She had seen the supply drops, the way their soldiers laughed beside burning fires. Full and strong. But humans did not help Valari. Not after the war. Not after her people had rebelled and lost. A faint wind blew through the ruins, carrying the sound of a child's whimper. Her sister's. The sound tore at Lyra's heart like claws. She turned her face away, tears streaking the gray dust on her cheeks. She had sworn never to bow to humans, never to beg, never to kneel. But now, her sister's life was slipping away, and her pride was worth nothing. When the twin suns set, painting the sky in dying orange light, Lyra made her choice. That night, she wrapped Tali in the last warm cloth they had, kissed her forehead and whispered, "Sleep, little one, when you wake. I'll bring food." Then she stood and walked away, her shadow long against the cold ground. The human outpost was miles away, built on the ruins of an old Valari city. Its lights burned bright, too bright for a world that had forgotten hope. Lyra walked until her legs trembled, until her throat was dry, until she reached the gate made of black steel. 2 armed soldiers stood guard, their rifles glinting. One spotted her and raised his weapon. "Stop right there, alien," he barked. Lyra froze, hands raised. "Please," she said quietly, "I need food. My sister, she'll die." The soldiers exchanged a look. The younger one smirked. "They all say that." The older soldier frowned. "Orders say no Valari inside the zone." Lyra dropped to her knees, tears mixing with the dust. "Take me, use me, I don't care. Just give her something to eat." The guards stared, shocked. They had seen aliens beg before, but never one so desperate. Never one who offered herself so willingly. From a nearby command post, a tall figure stepped out. His uniform was dark, marked with silver stripes, Commander Elias Ward. His eyes were calm, sharp, but not cruel. "What's going on here?" he asked, his voice even. The soldiers saluted. "Sir, one of the Valari came begging, says she wants food for her sister." Elias looked at Lyra for a long moment. Her hair was tangled, her face thin. Yet her eyes held something fierce, something unbroken. "Your sister?" he asked quietly. "She's dying," Lyra whispered. "I'll do anything. I'll clean, serve, or whatever you ask." Elias said nothing for a while. Then he turned to his men. "Bring her inside." The younger guard blinked. "Sir, she's Valari." "I said bring her inside," Elias repeated. His tone left no room for questions. Lyra stumbled forward as they opened the gate. She expected chains, cold floors, cruelty. Instead, she found herself inside a clean hall lit by white lights. Warm air filled her lungs for the first time in months. Elias ordered a ration pack and placed it in her hands. "Eat," he said simply. She shook her head. "For my sister." He watched her silently, then nodded once. "Where is she?" "In the ruins, Sector 9. Elias turned to his officer. "Prepare a small team." "We're going out," the men hesitated. "Sir, command won't approve." "I'll take the blame," Elias said coldly. Lyra could not believe what she was hearing. A human officer risking himself for her sister? Within an hour, the convoy rolled through the dead streets, armored lights cutting through the dark. Lyra guided them through the ruins, her heart pounding. When they reached the small shelter, Tali was still breathing, barely. Lyra ran to her, tears streaming as she fed her the ration slowly. "Eat, little one. It's all right now." Elias stood behind her. Silent, his men looked uneasy, but none spoke, as the engines hummed softly in the night. Lyra looked up at him and whispered, Why help us? Elias looked at the horizon where the first light of dawn broke through the clouds. Because no child should ever cry for food, he said quietly. And in that moment, as the light touched the broken world, something changed in the air. A story had begun, one that the galaxy would never forget. Morning light filtered through the cracked windows of the outpost. The air smelled of metal, heat, and something Lyra had almost forgotten: freshly cooked food. Tali lay sleeping beside her, her tiny stomach finally full, her breathing slow and peaceful. For the first time in weeks, Lyra felt hope, fragile but real. A knock echoed through the small room. The door opened, and Commander Elias Ward stepped inside. His uniform was crisp, his eyes unreadable. He held a tablet in one hand and a ration bar in the other. "Your sister will live," he said quietly. "But food here isn't free." Lyra tensed. She had known this moment would come. "I told you," she whispered. "I'll do anything." Elias studied her for a long moment, then spoke. "I don't need a servant," he said. "I need an interpreter." Lyra blinked in confusion. "Interpreter?" "Yes," Elias said. "Your people once built cities filled with ancient technology. My superiors want to explore those ruins, but we can't read Valari script." "You can," Lyra hesitated. "And what do I get?" Elias met her eyes. "Food, medicine, and safety for your sister. That's my offer." Lyra's throat tightened. She wanted to trust him, but trust was dangerous. Humans had destroyed their empire. Now one of them was offering protection. It sounded like a trap. Still, she had no choice. "I'll do it," she said at last. Elias nodded. "Good. We leave at dawn." He turned to go, then paused at the door. "And Lyra, don't make me regret helping you." When he left, Lyra sat in silence, watching Tali sleep. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from uncertainty. Outside, the outpost buzzed with life. Soldiers moved through corridors. Drones hummed overhead. Humans had turned the Valari ruins into a fortress. Lyra followed Elias the next morning. Dressed in clean but plain clothes the humans had given her, every eye followed her. Some filled with curiosity, others with hate. A young soldier sneered as she passed. "Careful, Commander. That alien might stab you in your sleep." Elias didn't even glance at him. "Then I'll sleep lightly," he replied coldly. They boarded a transport vehicle, the engines roaring to life. The convoy moved toward the gray horizon. Beyond the walls lay the remains of the Valari capital, a graveyard of stone and steel. As they drove, Lyra looked out the window. Seeing familiar ruins now crawling with human machines, she clenched her fists. "You're digging up my people's dead," she said softly. Elias looked at her. "We're trying to learn, not destroy." "You already destroyed," she whispered. Silence filled the cabin. When they reached the excavation site, human scientists swarmed over the shattered ruins. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls, ancient Valari runes that only a few could still read. Elias handed her a data slate. "Translate this section." Lyra moved closer to the carvings, tracing them with trembling fingers. The symbols pulsed faintly under her touch, responding as if alive. "This isn't just language," she murmured. "It's code, energy pathways." Elias frowned. "Energy?" "Yes," she said. "This place powered entire cities. Maybe more." The lead scientist, a tall man with cold eyes, stepped forward. "Commander, if she's right, we could have access to pre-war Valari energy systems. Unlimited power." Elias said nothing, but his jaw tightened. He could feel the hunger in the scientist's voice. As the day went on, Lyra translated line after line. The symbols spoke of the Heart of Stars, a legendary Valari artifact said to harness light itself. When night fell, the soldiers made camp. Lyra sat beside a fire, her mind racing across from her. Elias poured a cup of water and handed it to her. "You did well today," he said. "Why are you helping me?" She asked suddenly. "Humans don't help Valari." Elias stared into the flames. "Because I'm not like most humans," he said. "I fought in the war. I saw what both sides did. No one was innocent." Lyra studied him quietly. His face was hard, but there was sorrow in his eyes, the kind only soldiers carried. Then Elias leaned forward slightly, his voice lower. "Tell me the truth, Lyra. Are the stories real? About the Heart of Stars?" Lyra hesitated. "It's real," she whispered. "But it's not a weapon. It's something else. Something powerful, something alive." The firelight flickered across her face, and Elias saw something ancient in her eyes, a spark of knowledge that even humans feared before he could speak. A shout came from the edge of the camp. "Commander!" "We found something." They rushed to the excavation pit. Floodlights blazed down into the darkness, revealing a massive crystal structure buried beneath the earth. It pulsed faintly with blue light. Lyra gasped, her knees weak. "That's it," she whispered. "The heart's chamber." Elias turned to her. "How do you know?" "Because it's calling," she said, her voice trembling. "It recognizes me." The soldiers exchanged uneasy glances. Some made the sign of protection across their chests. Elias looked at Lyra, his expression unreadable. "Then tomorrow," he said, "we open it." As the camp lights flickered in the dark wasteland, Lyra sat beside her sister's sleeping form inside the tent, staring at the stars above, somewhere beyond them. She knew history was about to repeat itself, and this time, humanity would not be ready for what they awakened. The dawn came with a red sky over the wasteland. Soldiers moved quietly around the excavation site, checking equipment, loading scanners, and preparing to open the newly found chamber. Lyra stood beside Commander Elias, her eyes fixed on the faint blue glow rising from beneath the sand. She could feel it, the pulse of something ancient, something alive. It was faint but rhythmic. Like a heartbeat echoing through the ground, Elias watched her closely. "You look like you've seen this before," he said. Lyra shook her head slowly. "Not seen," she whispered, "but I remember it. The songs of the heart were told to every Valari child. We thought it was only legend." Elias gestured to the scientists. "Start the breach." Machines roared to life, metal arms tearing through the hardened dust. Sparks flew as a massive gate was revealed beneath, carved with spiraling Valari symbols. Lyra's eyes widened. "Stop," she shouted. "Don't force it open. It must be awakened, not broken." The scientist hesitated, looking at Elias. He nodded. "Let her try." Lyra stepped forward, her fingers trembling as she touched the carvings. The surface felt warm, like living skin. Slowly, she traced the first line of symbols, whispering words in the old tongue. Light surged through the stone, blue veins spreading outward. The air vibrated with low hums. Soldiers stepped back in awe as the massive gate split open by itself, releasing a rush of cold light. Beyond the gate lay a vast chamber filled with crystal pillars, each glowing softly. At the center, suspended above the ground, floated a core of swirling light, the heart of stars. Lyra fell to her knees, tears glimmering in her eyes. "It's real," she breathed. "It survived." Elias walked beside her, staring at the massive energy sphere. "What is it exactly?" "It's life," Lyra said softly. "The Valari created it to end hunger, to power worlds forever. It was meant to unite the galaxy, not divide it." The lead scientist's voice broke the silence. "Commander, this energy source could power Earth for centuries. Imagine what we could build." Elias frowned. "Or destroy," he said quietly. Lyra turned to him sharply. "You can't take it," she said. "If you move it, it will die. It must stay here. It's part of this world." The scientist smirked. "It's alien property, not sacred ground." Elias raised his hand, silencing the argument. "Enough," he said. "We'll study it, not dismantle it, not yet." As the others left to set up equipment, Lyra wandered deeper into the chamber, drawn by an invisible pull. Strange patterns appeared on the crystals when she passed, like veins reacting to her presence. She reached out to touch one, and the entire chamber brightened. The heart pulsed once, brighter than before. Then a stream of glowing symbols appeared in the air, forming around Lyra, wrapping her in light. Elias ran forward. "Lyra!" But she was frozen in place, eyes wide. Her mind filled with visions. Stars collapsing, cities burning, and then peace, shining across the galaxy. When it ended, she collapsed, gasping for air. Elias caught her, lowering her gently to the ground. "What happened?" he asked urgently. Lyra's voice was faint. "It showed me the truth. My ancestors sealed it after the war began. They feared what it would become in human hands." Elias's expression hardened. "Your people hid this from everyone, even as millions starved." She looked up at him, eyes full of pain. "Would you have done better?" The question hung in the air like a blade. That night, Lyra sat alone by a fire outside the ruins. Tali lay beside her, wrapped in blankets, safe for now. But the images in Lyra's mind wouldn't fade. The heart had spoken to her. It had chosen her. Elias approached quietly. "You should rest," he said. Lyra looked up. "The heart is waking, Commander." "And it knows me," Elias frowned. "Knows you?" She nodded. "It responded to my blood, my voice, my presence. The heart is bound to my lineage. Elias's eyes widened slightly. Then who are you, Lyra? She hesitated, then whispered. My family. We were royal engineers. The last of the Valari core bloodline. I am what remains. Elias exhaled slowly, realization dawning. That means, yes, she said. The heart will only obey me. From the shadows. Unseen, the lead scientist watched them, recording everything. His eyes gleamed with cold ambition. He whispered into his communicator. Command needs to know we found the key. Far above, human ships orbited the dead planet waiting. Lyra felt a chill run down her spine, something deep inside warning her that everything was about to change. She turned to Elias, her voice quiet but firm. Commander, promise me one thing. What is it? He asked. If the humans take the heart, they'll destroy themselves. Promise me you won't let them. Elias didn't answer right away. His gaze drifted toward the glowing chamber. Then he looked back at her and said softly, I'll try. And in that moment, both of them knew, try might not be enough because the galaxy had just felt the first heartbeat of something it thought was gone forever. The next morning, the sky above the wasteland shimmered with silver trails of human dropships. Command reinforcements had arrived. Soldiers, scientists, and drones filled the air with noise and movement. The quiet world of ruins was no longer silent. Lyra stood near the heart's chamber, watching the crowd. She could feel it. The heart was restless. Its pulse grew faster, reacting to the greed in the air. Commander Elias Ward stood beside her. His jaw tight, he had tried to delay the order. But the message from Central Command had been clear. Secure the artifact at all costs. Detain the alien if necessary. The lead scientist, Dr. Hensley, approached with a cold smile. Commander, you've done well. We'll take over from here, Elias frowned. She's under my protection. Hensley raised an eyebrow. She's a key witness, not your property. And that artifact, he pointed toward the glowing chamber, belongs to the Terran Federation now. Lyra's eyes narrowed. The heart belongs to no one, she said. It was made to feed the stars, not armies, the doctor laughed softly. And yet, it will feed our fleets. Before Elias could stop him, soldiers surrounded Lyra, weapons raised. Stand down, Elias shouted, but no one listened. The doctor turned, smirking. Take her. Commander's orders no longer apply in that moment. Elias made his choice. He drew his sidearm and fired into the ground. I said stand down. His voice thundered across the site. The soldiers froze, unsure. Hensley glared. You're committing treason, Ward. Elias lowered his weapon slightly. Then so be it, he said coldly. He turned to Lyra. Go now. Lyra hesitated. My sister, Tally's already on the shuttle. I made sure, Elias said quickly. But if you stay, they'll take you too. Lyra's heart pounded. The heart pulsed faster, as if urging her, calling her name in soundless whispers. She turned to the soldiers, her voice sharp. If you touch this power without understanding it, you'll destroy everything. But humans rarely listen to warnings from aliens. Elias grabbed her arm and pulled her toward the exit. Gunfire erupted behind them. Sparks flew as bullets hit metal walls. They ran through tunnels of crystal light. The ground trembled as the heart reacted to the chaos. Outside, alarms blared. The base was in lockdown. They reached a transport bay where Tali waited. The little girl cried out in relief. Sister! Lyra lifted her into her arms, hugging her tightly. It's all right. I'm here. Elias sealed the bay doors. Breathing hard, we can't stay, they'll track us, Lyra turned. There's only one way to stop them. Elias frowned. What do you mean? The heart listens to me, it listens to my blood. If I connect to it, I can control it, or destroy it. Destroy it? Elias said sharply. That thing could save billions. And it could kill billions, she replied. You've seen what your leaders want. They'll use it as a weapon, not salvation. Elias looked down, conflicted. Then he nodded slowly. What's your plan? Lyra's voice trembled. I'll make them a deal. Before Elias could respond, a deafening explosion shook the ground. The outpost walls cracked. Dust filled the air. Human command had unleashed plasma charges on the heart's chamber. Lyra fell to her knees, screaming as pain shot through her. The heart was linked to her life, and its agony tore through her veins. Elias caught her, shouting, Stay with me! She gasped. They're killing it. They don't understand. Through the dust, Hensley appeared again, his face twisted with rage. You should have stayed where you belong. Alien, he sneered. Now the Federation will take what it deserves. Elias stepped between them, his weapon raised. Not while I breathe, Hensley smirked. Then you'll die a traitor. He gestured to his men. Shoot them! Before a single bullet fired, the air exploded in light. Blue energy surged upward from the ruins. Lifting stones, metal, and men alike, the heart of stars had awakened. Lyra stood, glowing faintly. Her eyes were no longer gray. They burned with blue fire. Enough! Her voice echoed, carrying across the wasteland. The soldiers froze as their weapons melted in their hands. The heart's energy wrapped around Lyra like a storm. Elias shielded his eyes, shouting, "Lyra, stop, you'll kill yourself." Her voice trembled but strong. "I will not let them destroy what was meant to heal." She raised her hands, and the entire field fell silent. Hensley tried to run, but the ground split open beneath him, swallowing him into the light. Then Lyra turned to Elias, her expression filled with sorrow. "Tell them. I want peace." He reached for her. "Lyra, wait, what are you doing?" "I'm ending the hunger," she whispered. "I'll give them energy. But they must never use it for war." Elias shook his head. "You'll die if you do this." Lyra smiled weakly. "Then I'll feed the stars one last time," Tali cried out. "Sister, don't leave me." Lyra knelt, cupping her face gently. "You'll never be alone, little one. The stars will remember us." Then she rose. Walking back toward the glowing ruins, the heart pulsed faster. Responding to her every step, Elias tried to follow. But a wave of energy pushed him back. All he could do was watch as Lyra disappeared into the light. The entire valley erupted in brilliance, the night turning brighter than day. And then silence. When the light faded, the heart of stars hovered calmly once more, its power flowing into the atmosphere, spreading energy across the world. Lyra was gone. Elias fell to his knees, the weight of loss heavy in his chest. Tali clung to him, sobbing. In the distance, the first human scanners reported something incredible. Unlimited energy spreading across the planet. Reviving what was dead, Lyra had kept her promise. The world was silent after the storm of light. The air shimmered with energy, and the black clouds that had covered the sky for years slowly began to fade. The ruined cities that once stood lifeless started to glow again, their machines humming as if awakening from a long sleep. Human soldiers crawled from the dust. Their weapons melted, their helmets cracked. They looked around, speechless for the first time. They felt warmth spreading through the ground itself. The heart of stars had done it. It had awakened fully, spreading endless energy across the wasteland. Power filled the air, but there was no explosion. No destruction. Only life. Commander Elias Ward stood on his knees at the edge of the glowing crater. His uniform torn, his hands covered in dust and blood. His eyes searched the light, calling out, "Lyra!" But there was no answer. Only the soft hum of the heart, floating above the ruins like a living sun. Beside him, Tali cried silently, clutching a piece of her sister's scarf. It still smelled faintly of ash and warmth. "She's gone," she whispered, her voice shaking. Elias placed a hand on her shoulder, his throat tight. "No," he said softly. "She's part of it now." The days that followed changed everything. Word spread quickly through the human fleet. Energy waves from the heart reached orbiting ships, recharging them instantly. Machines that once needed fuel now ran on light. Crops began to grow in the wasteland. Clean water returned to the rivers. Scientists called it a miracle. Politicians called it a new age. But Elias knew what it truly was, a sacrifice. Human command tried to claim credit, broadcasting that the Federation had discovered a new power source. But rumors spread faster than lies. Soldiers whispered about the alien woman who glowed like the stars, about her last words before she vanished across the colonies. Both human and alien refugees began to speak her name, Lyra of the Valari. The one who fed the stars. Elias and Tali stayed near the ruins, now surrounded by a peaceful glow. The heart no longer pulsed violently. It shone gently as if breathing one night. As Tali sat beside the glowing crater, she heard a faint voice. It was soft. "Like wind through crystal, don't cry, little one," the voice said. "The stars are watching you." Tali looked up at the light, tears streaming down her face. "Sister?" The light flickered, forming the shape of a woman, faint but clear. Lyra's eyes glowed softly, her expression calm and warm. "Don't be afraid," she whispered. "I'm still here. I'm part of the heart now." Elias stepped closer, his breath caught in his chest. "Lyra." She turned her gaze toward him. "You kept your word," she said gently. "You protected her," he nodded. Unable to speak, Lyra's form began to fade, her voice softer now. Tell them, Commander. Tell your people that the galaxy doesn't need war to survive. It only needs compassion. Elias took a deep breath. I will, he promised. I swear it. The light brightened once more, wrapping around both of them, and then it was gone. Only the hum of peace remained from that day forward. The Heart of Stars became sacred ground. No army dared to touch it again. The Federation built no weapons from it. Instead, they built hospitals, energy stations, and schools for both humans and aliens alike. A treaty was signed between species not out of fear, but out of respect for one woman's choice years later. Commander Elias Ward became the ambassador of the Unity Council, a new alliance between worlds. Every speech he gave began with the same words. One starving child changed the galaxy. Tali grew into a bright young woman. Studying the heart's energy, she carried her sister's story to every colony, reminding them that kindness could rebuild what war had destroyed. On the anniversary of the awakening, thousands gathered under the glowing sky to honor Lyra's sacrifice. They called it the Day of Light. Elias stood before the crowd, his hair now streaked with gray, Tali beside him, and the heart pulsing gently behind. He looked up at the stars and spoke softly, his voice steady and filled with emotion. She gave everything for a galaxy that once hated her. She didn't ask for thanks or power or glory. She asked only that no child, human or alien, should ever cry for food again. The crowd fell silent, and for a moment, the stars above seemed to shine brighter. Tali placed her hand over her heart, whispering, "Thank you, sister." And somewhere in that infinite sky, the stars whispered back, their light stretching across every world, every moon, every ship that sailed the black. It was said that whenever a starving child looked up at the night sky, they would see her face in the light, a quiet reminder of the deal that changed everything, the deal no one forgot.